Hello, I'm Nick Park from Evangelical Alliance Ireland, and this is our weekly message. It's Friday, but Sunday's coming. I was struck by something last week that I saw in the news. It was for the British comedian Sandy Toksvig. Perhaps if familiar to you at all, it would be for one time she was a presenter on the Great British Bake Off. And she was telling about a cup of coffee that she had had with Justin Welby, the Archbishop of Canterbury, to talk about her disagreements with the Church's position on certain moral issues in society. And this is her quote. She said this, and this was reported by Sky News: "From our very calm and considered conversation yesterday, it is very clear that the State's Church of England and the society it purports to represent are not remotely in step." You know, it absolutely baffles me that people would make pronouncements about the church when they apparently don't have the faintest clue of what the church is supposed to be about. The church does not represent society. The church is supposed to represent Jesus Christ. The church is not there to just echo whatever is the prevailing view in society, and thank God that it isn't. Thank God that the church did not keep in step with society when society thought slavery was great and the church spoke out and campaigned for slavery to be abolished. In fact, as I look back through history, the times whenever the Church of Jesus Christ has behaved the most shamefully in history was the times when it was in step with society. For example, when we're talking about churches in South Africa that supported apartheid and were in step with society. Or when churches in Germany in the 1930s failed to speak out against Hitler and remained in step with society. The church is not supposed to be in step with society, and the church is not supposed to represent society. The church is to be in the world, but not of the world. The fact is that society is never going to be in step with the church. You know, the very fact that the majority of people don't know Jesus means that society is never going to be in step with the church. In fact, the only times that the church has been in step with society to any great degree is when the church has abdicated its responsibilities and compromised with society. We are called to be different. We're called to share the light of Jesus in a dark world. But it's not just people like Sandy Toksvig that amaze me, it's also many Christians. When Christians start getting all amazed and horrified because society is dark or because the world is evil, and they go into this panic about we're near the end because look at the dreadful things that are happening. There's always been dreadful things happening in society. It's the world. The world is evil. The world is sinful. The world has an agenda that is not the agenda of Jesus Christ. Now, I can understand somebody like Sandy Toksvig, who may not have a great knowledge of theology or church history or any Christian formation. I can understand somebody like her totally misunderstanding the purpose of the church and what the church is there for. But I have much greater difficulty understanding how Christians can do this. How Christians seem to think that society should be a mirror image of the church. It's not going to be. We are lights shining in darkness. The church always has been, and the church always will be until Jesus comes back again. We will be lights shining in darkness. And no, we don't represent society. And no, we don't expect to be in step with society, and society should not expect us to be in step with them. We're going to be different. We're going to stand for Jesus, and sometimes that's not going to be popular. Sometimes that is going to go against the prevailing culture of the day. We don't need to get ourselves into a moral panic over it. Instead, we keep proclaiming truth. We keep proclaiming righteousness. We keep loving people. We keep praying with people. I'm glad the Archbishop of Canterbury had a considered conversation with Sandy Toksvig. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to keep loving people, even when they don't share our opinions, even when they seem to have unrealistic expectations of the church. We don't hate them. We don't get mad at them. We keep loving them. But let's always remember, we are not there to represent society. And we are not going to be in step with society. The church is called to be gloriously different. And that is what the gospel is all about. May God help us to be different, not in a way that's just trying to be confrontational, not in a way that's just weird, but in a way that is a genuine reflection of how Jesus makes people's lives different from the society round about them. May God continue to help us to do that in Jesus' name. God bless you, and join us again next week for our message from Evangelical Alliance Ireland. It might be Friday, but Sunday's coming.